I'd like to call this February 27th, 2023 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Prior to the roll call, I'd just like to take a moment of silence for Virginia Gendevin. She served on council for 8 years in Ward 2. She passed away this past week. Thank you. And there's a picture that Jared showed of Virginia on the screen during that moment of silence. Again, condolences go to her family and her husband, John, and our prayers are with them. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Present.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Reading of the minutes,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of February 13, 2023 is completed and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second?
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks. The Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Health, Safety, and Sanitation had an update from Mr. Piccoli, Chief Kinney, and the mayor about the sanitation department, fire department, and police department. Gave us an update for 2023, and our health and safety seems to be in good hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Properties has a meeting tentatively scheduled before our next before our next Finance Committee meeting on March 27, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Special legislation, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report and no meeting exactly scheduled, but I have detailed the 6 things that are in my committee. And I'm going to send the list to the clerk of council this week as well, and also to the 2 other members of my committee, so that we can set the dates up, confirm the dates, make sure that all the members are available, and start those meetings at the end of March and work through them into the summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no meeting scheduled, but I do want to give an update on the last meeting that we had. This update is on the flashing lights at the 3 schools, Union from the high school, Sturbridge, and at Reagan and Ashwood. So thank you to Mr. Patton. He got 3 quotes after our last meeting to get quotes for installing these 3 sets of flashing lights. And he received 1 quote back that was under the $25,000 threshold. So what that means is that we can go ahead, and it went through finance, and now we can issue a PO, and we can go ahead with that project. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Patton.
Thank you. Water and Utilities, Mrs. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing new to report and no meeting scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have several for finance. We have 2344 budget amendments, 2345 fund advance request, 2346 fund transfer request for the railroad fund, 2347 a then and now for Pioneer Technology for the Muni Court, 2348 a then and now for Pioneer Technology for the Muni Court, 2349 increase PO 23611 Technology Engineering for the IT, 2350 amend ordinance 20022 account number, 2351 increase PO 23733 Littman Inc. for the service department, 2352 approve Teamsters contract, 2353 approve OPBA collective bargaining agreements, 2354 increase PO 23292 Akron uniform for the PD, 2355, authorized expenditure for Kleinfelder, Inc., fiscal year 22 CHIP grant. 2356, amend ordinance 20322 West Smith reconstruction project. 2357, amend ordinance 10422 Gates Mill culvert replacement. 2358, of then and now Medina County sanitary engineers. And 2359, expenditure of $15,000 flashing lights for East Reagan, Ashwood, and West Sturbridge Drive at Airwood Middle School. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 29th Annual Ice Festival by Elegant Ice and presented by Serpentini in Medina was a great success, February 17th through 21st, with the exception of the warmer weather that came in on Saturday afternoon and Sunday that adversely affected some of the sculptures. The event was well attended, and a number of the businesses that I spoke with said they had many people come in their businesses, and they benefited from that. On February 21st, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., there was a first responder appreciation night at the Foundry for county police, fire, EMS, healthcare workers, et cetera, as a thanks for working through the COVID and what they do day in and day out. It was well attended and appreciated, and the event was presented by Second Baptist Church and Sister Circle of Medina Incorporated, and it was graciously sponsored by the Stevenson Foundation. And I want to thank Councilman Jim Shields and Denny Simpson for attending and thanking the people too. On February 23rd at 7 p.m. there was Black History Month event presented at the American Association of University Women at Fellowship Baptist Church in Medina. The event was titled The Struggles and Triumphs of African American Physicians, and I would like to thank the church and the AAUW members for presenting this great program. And last but not least, on February 24th at noon, this past Friday, Leadership Medina County presented a Zoom program with Second Baptist Pastor Arthur Ruffin, Pastor Tracy Ruffin, and their daughter Ashley Powell, entitled Beyond the Headlines, What Does Juneteenth Really Mean? It was a good discussion. There were a number of questions, and a good number of people attended that on Zoom. I was honored to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. My usual reminder that the city of Medina has an income tax. If you're a city resident, you are required to pay income taxes. The Regional Income Tax Agency, RETA, collects those for us. You can get the forms from their website. You can file there. And then there's a couple things on the agenda that I'll address when we get there.
Thank you. Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple items to note for council and the public this evening. Friday, March 10th is our next round of new business ribbon cuttings, and we have 3 scheduled that day, with the first one being at 10 a.m. for a new business called Pioneer Physicians at 279 East Reagan Parkway. And then at 11 o'clock, we go to 1126 North Court Street for Crumble Cookies, which should be really exciting to have a new cookie place. And then at 1 o'clock, we head back down into the square for Finn's Fickle Goods, which is a new retail shop that is right next to Cupcake a Day at 113 West Liberty Street. They make handmade leather purses and wallets and various leather accessories. And just, again, these events are in conjunction with Main Street Medina and the Medina Chamber of Commerce. So we hope that you will be able to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Kenny, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to make the public aware that the Forestry Department issued a permit to Ohio Edison to perform utility vegetation management, mainly on the southwest side of the city along 4 distribution circuits. Their contractor will begin notifying city residents in the near future. Any questions regarding the work should be directed to the contact number that is on the door hanger left at each property that will be affected. Our forestry staff will be working with Ohio Edison on any issues that might come up throughout the project. The main work area will be focused on overhead distribution lines, mostly in the tree lawn, with the exception of some rear lot right-of-ways, mostly south of East Smith Road and west of Wadsworth Road. The contractor who is permitting the work is Arbor Metrics. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse me. Wanted to remind the folks that April 17th of this year, 2023, we'll start our yard waste program. The sanitation department, as Councilman Simpson referenced, we had the health, safety, sanitation meeting, and we just wanted to briefly talk about the yard waste program, the cardboard route, and then the food waste that was diverted from the landfills on these 3 recycling programs. There was probably 2,549 tons without our leaves. The leaves added another 1,231 tons. That's a rate of 13.3% in recycling. Councilman Lamb brought up a good point that we should get those numbers out to the public so they know that we are engaged with respect to recycling. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Toth, the LST Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the month of January, the life support team had 298 ambulance calls for the city of Medina. For all 3 entities, we had 448 ambulance calls. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Notices, communications, and petitions. There are none. Unfinished business. We have ordinance 1823.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that ordinance be submitted for reading and then for a final vote this evening.
Thank you. It's ordinance 1823 is an ordinance rezoning the property located at south of Lafayette Road and west of Industrial Parkway, parcel number 028-19C-17-041, from an I-1 industrial to an R3 high-density urban residential.
Move to approve.
Second?
Mr. Dutton, do you want a final comment on this?
Sure, I guess I'll just give a brief overview. It's a zoning map amendment from I-1 to R3. It's a property which is to the south of the existing Brookdale Mobile Home Park. It's a lot with limited industrial development potential. The applicant is proposing to extend the mobile home park to the south onto the property. This was heard by the Planning Commission on November 10th. They recommended approval, and we also held a public hearing on January 9th. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion or comment on this? I just have to notify that I will abstain on this vote since I represent the applicant on various other matters, so I would be abstaining on this. So would the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Abstain.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5, 1 abstention.
Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during a portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered in the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? We have nobody. Okay. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules of 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 3923, 4023, 4123, 4223, 4323, 4423, 4523, 4623, 4723, and 4823.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I will make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second?
In discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance 3923, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for the annual purchase of general pavement services and equipment to be used by the service department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a asphalt paving bid that allows the city, the Service Department, Parks Department to resurface streets, make necessary repairs with respect to pavement throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 3923 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4023, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for the 2023 concrete street repair program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our annual program to replace and repair the various sections of concrete streets throughout town. This year, we're asking for $650,000.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption?
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 4023 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4123, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise from competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for the 2023 concrete pavement joint sealing program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This again is an annual program. This is basically aimed at concrete preservation and maintenance. Completing this will extend the life of those pavements.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 4123 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4223, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of $60,000 to Signal Service Company for street department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli?
Thank you, Mr. President. So throughout the year, we have necessary repairs and equipment replacement needs with respect to our traffic signal system. Some are on emergency basis, and some of them are very expensive. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb. Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 4223 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4323, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2122, passed December 12, 2022, amendments to the 23 budget as a 2022 carry forward.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. These are unspent appropriations from 2022 being rolled into 2023.
Yes, and any further discussion? I think the department heads are happy to get this because they save up this money over the years, and they're allowed to, permitted to use it on various other projects or things that they view are necessary for the department, of which council may be too frugal to fund. Is that right? Is that correct? I don't know, maybe something. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 4323 passes 6-0.
Resolution 4423, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application for grant assistance from the Ohio Historic Preservation Office for a certified local government grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Dutton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is authorization for us to file for a CLG, Certified Local Government Grant. This will be to erect 10 local historic landmark signs. The requested amount will be $5,000 from the state of Ohio, and will be matched with $5,000 from Main Street, which was through 3M, so this will be at no cost to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the resolution?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Resolution 4423 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4523, an ordinance amending ordinance number 22122, passed December 12, 2022, amendment to the 2023 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first one is some court funds. These are paid for by fees that people pay that are in the court. All the rest deal with grants, and there's also an advance that works itself into here because with the grants, we have to advance the money and then spend it and then get it back.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 4523 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4623, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make certain fund advances.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
I mentioned with the last ordinance that we were approving appropriation for advances. These are the advances.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes. Ordinance 4623 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 4723, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make certain fund transfers.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Durham?
In the prior ordinance, the mayor pointed out, we were changing the account number. There's a reduction in 94,000, an increase in 94,000, and we were supposed to be changing an account number. It was from 52214 to 53314. But if you look at the ordinance as it's printed, they're both 52214, so it's an increase and a decrease of the exact same amount in the exact same line, which doesn't really accomplish much.
Okay, well, let's vote on this one first, then we'll go back and amend that ordinance.
Okay.
So is there, discuss ordinance 4723.
Okay, 4723 is a transfer. This is not an advance, it's a transfer. We're moving money from one fund to another. This is for the railroad. The railroad, we have 3 customers, and then the city pays a share. Each customer and the city pay an equal share. This is to pay the city's share.
Any further discussion on ordinance 4723? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of ordinance 4723?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 4723 passes 6-0.
Now going back to ordinance 4623, we need an amendment to ordinance 4623, which provides a new account number. Do you have that account number?
It's actually 4523, John.
Oh, going back two, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Going back to 4523, we need an amendment to ordinance 4523, which provides, Mr. Durham.
The increase on the second line of the increases, the first 7 digits are the same. The last group is, instead of 52214, it's 53314.
So is there a motion to amend ordinance number 4523 on the second line, on the increase from account number 53, what was it, 53244 to 5344?
53314. I'll make an amendment to amend ordinance 4523 as mentioned on the account number.
Teresa, do you have that? Okay. Second, is there any discussion on that motion to amend? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to amend 4523?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 4523 as amended passes 6-0.
Going on to ordinance 4823, an ordinance amending ordinance number 222 passed October 24, 2022, relative to the request for proposals for consultant services for the multi-use path plan for the city of Medina, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion? Is this Mr. Dutton?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is another account number correction from ordinance 222, which was authorization for RFP and to award a contract for a multi-use plan utilizing $50,000 of ARPA funds. So it's just a change from account 171-0410-53315 to 52215. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 4823 passes 6-0.
Council comments? Anybody? No? All right. This is the first time I think we had no emergency clauses on the agenda and no council comments. Meeting is adjourned.
We need to make a copy of this meeting, you know.